we are.
Mark, good to see you. Who dresses you? The state? Okay. Fantastic. So what they didn't mention is this is the 200th episode of the Ron Purtee Show. It's a bit of a milestone. Thank you very much. It's only taken like 18 years to get here, but here I am. And just a couple of quick things before we get going. November 2nd, I'm going to be live again with the Ron Purtee Show at McCullough's Pub in Racine. So if anybody's from Racine, can I get a "you suck" because it's Racine? Nothing? Okay. Racine is a shit show, too. But what are you going to do?
I want to thank her for breaking the seal on the S-bombs before we got up here.
Yeah, exactly.
So no one can blame us.
What the hell is her problem with that stupid language? I mean, come on. But anyway, so yeah, there's that. And then, of course, I have to do the call to actions because this is a podcast, right? You can follow me on social media at Real Ron Purtee on Twitter and Instagram. We'll get to yours in a second, Dr. Awkward.
Fair enough.
Don't worry. Yes. Yeah, so there's all that stuff going on. Mark is just waiting for me to come down there and punch him in the face, isn't he? Yeah. Well, that's a big finale. Boom! But anyway, so without any more trepidation, my name is Ron, and I'd like to hear more from you guys. Could you make a little bit of noise? Just a little bit? A little bit. Come on. This is first annual Wisconsin Podcast Fest. We'll make a little bit of goddamn noise. Just a little bit? No? Okay. Wow, you guys, woo! But you guys, yes, thank you very much. That you're settle down. But my guest at this time, I've been trying to get you on the program for a long time.
It's been a while. Yeah.
It has Aaron Lewis. It has. It's been a very long while. He's in the band Body Futures, and he's in the band If I Had a Hi-Fi, and he's would you call yourself a political activist? On a small level?
I mean, I suppose in a way, if you're an artist, that kind of makes you a political activist in a little way.
Kind of?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
So, sure, I mean, you want to slap that label on me, I'll take it. Gadfly about town. Wear several hats, none of them well.
The hats never look good on me. I think it's my misshapen head. But DJ Hostettler, right?
You got it. Yeah.
Boom! Everybody always mispronounces my last name, and I'm the one who comes in and says yours just right. Except I don't even know Mark's.
Good job.
I just know him as the guy I went to punch. But that's all besides the point.
It's like 3 syllables. Like it's a tricky one to nail down. I understand.
Well, that's the thing is whenever anybody sees mine, they automatically go to like Purtee, but where's the Y? There's no D either. Are you creating new words?
They're just trying to make you into a party, man.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You come on. That shirt screams party.
This shirt screams lazy. This shirt screams wake up, take a shower, and put on whatever is sitting in a pile on the floor.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a party, too.
Because I passed out eating Hot Pockets watching...
Yes,
watching... what was I watching? Oh, I was watching Weekend Update on YouTube. I've become a big fan of Pete Davidson lately, despite all of his troubles. And I hope to one day threaten suicide on Instagram. But, what was that, too dark? Come on, people. Grow. If that's going to be bad for you, you're in for it. But, so now... Real quick before we get going, have you guys heard about White Claw and how they're saying it's running out? How they're running out of White Claw? Okay, there's a couple of things here. First, I think they're just doing this, like saying it's running out, because they're going to be introducing the pumpkin spice White Claw.
Yeah,
because
they are,
everything
actually.
is pumpkin. That's so gross.
No,
that's so
true.
goddamn gross.
I'm going to try it.
Of course you are, but that's so goddamn gross. But can you imagine, like, in a world where White Claw doesn't exist anymore? It'd be like Mad Max. You have everything that you need, but you don't have White Claw, and you have to use White Claw as
So
currency.
that's the guzzling.
That's the guzzling.
Nice.
Yes. And then Charlize Theron shows up without her arm, and
who run Bartertown? Becky run Bartertown.
And it's just it's all sorts of good stuff.
Anyway,
but yeah. So now you are a unique individual because you're not only the drummer, but you're also the singer. Not in Body Futures, you share duties with Dixie.
Sure.
But in Hi-Fi...
Yes, I am a singing drummer, which is weird.
Now, when you were growing up, was music a big thing for you, or is that something that came to you later in life?
I would say it probably around when most young kids start discovering popular culture, like around... Or popular culture that's not movies and TV, anyway. Right. So around, like 10, 11 is when my parents like bought me a radio and let me join band and
Right.
and that fun stuff. So yeah, I got hooked on the idea of like performance arts like
Right.
pretty early.
Right. Just for the little kids out there, radio is a thing that your grandparents listen to in their car. Just so you know. Just so you know. No offense to the FM 106.1 people who are here. I'm sure you're great with your country. But anyway, now when did you decide that you wanted to be a drummer? Was there like because I know a lot of times people like go through from instrument to instrument trying to figure out what they want to do.
It was the laziest decision ever. I looked at all the different musical instruments that were available, and I thought, which one has the notes that just go horizontally and not vertically on the scale? I think I can learn how to play that one.
So a lazy decision, but yet it's like the most physically intensive instrument.
It is, and it ended up pretty much changing the course of my life, and now I'm known as a drummer, so there you go.
Oh, God. Why would anybody want to be known as a drummer? Oh, jeez. A lot of work. But were your parents very supportive of you coming up as when you started playing an instrument?
Absolutely, yeah. My parents were very I'm one of 4 kids, and they were very laissez-faire about do what you enjoy, follow your passions. My dad at some point in my 30s. My dad and I were having a conversation that involved him saying, well, I guess it's my fault that I raised you to question authority and do whatever makes you happy because here you are doing that.
And boy, we'll get to that. We'll get to the questioning authority portion of our program in just a little bit. Now, what did your parents do? What are they?
Dad worked at a factory. Mom was a nurse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
Nothing creative.
Nothing creative.
No.
I don't know how it happened. Honestly, Dad took me to see Star Wars when I was 3, and that was like the brain isn't done developing yet, so whatever ideas got plugged in there.
So now you're gonna sell the If I Had a Hi-Fi catalog to Disney for $4 billion, but retain the rights to the words Jedi and Sith.
If I can get anyone to buy the rights to the catalog for that much, good.
I've got $20. Can I have the catalog?
No.
No. You sure? It's a real $20 bill.
I'm gonna be.
I got it right from McCullough's on the Square.
I've already established that I'm never going to be able to retire, so it's going to take a little more than $20.
Okay, 21. How about that? I'll give you a single too.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah. See, there you go. I mean, that's just.
Now we're cooking with gas.
Yes, we are. Let's set this motherfucker ablaze. But now, when you decided to play drums, what was like the first music that you heard that really kind of connected with you?
The first tape I ever bought was by Huey Lewis and the News.
Tapes are these small things, kids.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to explain.
They're coming back. Kids know what tapes are. They are coming back. They are coming back hard. They are coming back strong.
Like the kids who were tweeting on the anniversary of the Titanic were tweeting out, "Wait a minute, this really happened? This was a thing? I thought it was just a movie."
Oh, I didn't know that was the thing that really happened. Oh my God. But no,
I blame
tapes
Trump.
It's because pressing vinyl is so stupidly expensive, and nobody buys CDs anymore. So you need a physical product at your shows. So there are people putting out tapes. Although the tapes have download codes because everything has to have a download code.
It does.
That's the rule.
My question to him was when I was getting ready to buy their latest album was, does it have a download code?
Yeah.
Because I
100%.
I can't play the record in my Jeep. I mean, I could try.
They tried the
portable
to
pimp my ride.
They tried the portable vinyl turntables in the cars in the 70s, and it
didn't work.
No, I mean,
you'd end up looking like the pimp from "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker."
If you think texting while driving is bad, imagine trying to change to side 2.
I mean,
while it's on your dash.
Yeah, I guess.
No.
Yeah, no, that would be bad.
Yeah,
that'd be very bad. Like I just got a copy of Nevermind the Bollocks by Sex Pistols, first pressing. I was super excited. I got it at the comic book shop of all places. I paid $5 for it. Then I found out why I paid $5 for it. Because there's a nice big scratch on the side B. It's like, oh, you mother... Yeah, no, it was not good. It was not good. But now, did you ever, tinker around with any different kinds of music because I mean I would even say Body Futures is noise rock. Would you? I mean,
in a way,
noise rock with an auto
well, for
harp?
those that don't know, the two bands I play in are categorized as noise rock.
Yeah, would you explain noise rock to everybody?
I mean it's a very esoteric genre, which is why many people don't know who I am. It's basically it's conventional rock music, but with avant-garde like feedback, noise. Samples. If you're at all familiar with Sonic Youth, they were
they're probably the biggest noise rock band.
Yeah, they were one of their originators. A lot of the proto punk of the '70s, like Pere Ubu, kind of got it going.
Yeah.
Sonic Youth kind of
and now Kim and Thurston are no more, and that means Sonic Youth is no more.
Yeah, but they're still the coolest people on the planet.
This is true. I was always a Leader Ronaldo guy. I loved his songs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I think Wish Fulfillment on Dirty.
Bob Burt was actually in town last weekend.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Doing
playing.
what?
He's playing with John Spencer's band now.
Oh.
And
nobody. We're going to have a conversation between ourselves because nobody else knows what the hell we're talking about. But isn't
that the core of podcasting?
It really
Ron?
is.
I mean,
it really is. Now, Thurston Moore was just in town playing at the Oriental or something.
He did a live score for a movie that escapes me right now. But,
Goblin's been coming into town a lot and doing live
yes.
scores for Argento movies. But I'm not going to go until it's Dawn of the Dead because I don't care about Dario Argento. I don't care about Deep Red.
Fair enough.
Just,
to each their own.
Suspiria puts me to sleep. If I need any Ambien, I either listen to a radio show out of Kenosha, which is just horrible.
Well, I mean, it's good to get sleep.
And it is. Or I put on Suspiria. I get about 10 minutes in, and the minute... I make it to the part where Udo Kier shows up, and he speaks with an American accent, even though he's supposed to be German, and he's a German.
It's Italian movies, man. That's how they did it.
For those that don't know, Italian movies, they record everything without sound. And then they ADR everything in later. And it's quite possibly the most ridiculous thing ever.
It's awesome.
I know it's awesome, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But it's just oof. So, which band got formed first, Body Futures or?
If I Had a Hi-Fi is going to be 20 years old next year.
Jeez.
Yeah, that band started in 2000.
Well, when it turns 21, are you going to take it to the strip club?
Already been there, man.
There you go.
Been there, done that.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, Body Futures started actually in 2012 during a If I Had a Hi-Fi hiatus.
Okay.
Those two things weren't necessarily connected, but it's kind of how it fleshed out. Dixie Jacobs, who's my wife, and also another very excellent local musician, was looking for people to play with at the time, and made a call out to friends on Facebook because that's how you form bands now. You don't put the.
It's true.
There used to be you used to put flyers up at the record store with little phone numbers on the bottom.
And
now
there was this thing called paper. I know
Yeah.
kids don't know what paper is anymore.
But yeah, she was looking for. She wanted to start a band that sounded like the Birthday Party.
Okay.
And we sound nothing like that. But
no, you don't.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's. Whenever somebody asks, like, well, who do you emulate? Who do you want to be? I want to be me. I don't.
Right.
And I mean, you can take certain things from people that inspire you, but then at the end of the day, you have to do what you want to do.
Well, I mean, really, the way If I Had a Hi-Fi started in 2000 was we had. I mean, it was a little of both. We had a template for the bands that we wanted to emulate in a way.
Right.
Like we were about 4 years out from discovering this band in Ohio called Brainiac that were very much of the Devo, Pirubu school of like early industrial proto-punk.
Right.
And so we were really into them and into Sonic Youth and into a lot of like weirder stuff. Melt Banana was a big one. But at the same time, we wanted to put our own personality into it, which is, to me, is really key. If you're going to be making music, you can't just say, I'm going to be in a punk band or I'm going to be in a metal band. Like you have to, like my favorite bands are the ones that inject their own unique personality into it. And so when people early on would ask us what our influences were, I'd be like, pro wrestling.
We'll get to pro wrestling, folks. We're going to be ready to alienate everyone in the audience.
When Mick fell off that ladder, I knew I wanted to like just jump off of a ladder into my drums, which is something I have done before.
Oh, geez. There you go. Well, him coming off the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, people don't know about that match, oddly enough. If you know, even if you I don't care.
It's my fault I brought it up first.
You did. You started the ball rolling. The funny thing about that match is if you watch that Hell in a Cell match, you see Mick Foley go flying off the top. That one was planned. But when he goes through the top and hits his head on a chair and then goes into
planned.
That was not planned at all. That's why his tooth was coming out of his nose, and it was,
See, it's like the time I was at Subterranean in Chicago hanging off of their spiral staircase and trying to play it with a drumstick, and I lost my footing and bruised my back on the steps.
Oh,
that
lovely.
was not planned.
There you go. Not planned at all. At all. Yeah. And Mick Foley continued to wrestle for God knows how long. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a like to get back to like musicians that aren't afraid to put their personality into the work, which is what you need to do.
Right.
Like there's a guy up in Green Bay that I have admired for years and years named Reverend Norb. He's in a band called Boris the Sprinkler.
Yes.
Really, like the music is, if you heard it, it might not necessarily, do it for you.
Right.
It's basic punk rock. It's 60s bubblegum influenced. It's verse, chorus, verse. There's blues progressions, but if you listen to his lyrics and hear like the lightning fast pop culture references he's busting out,
right.
and it's like only he could write like that. Only he could perform the way he did, and that makes that band special. It's not really the music; it's the people making.
I even had a guy who lives in Manchester message me because we had become friends on Facebook for whatever reason. You never remember how you meet people anymore. And he was like, "Oh, have you heard of this band called Boris?" And like, yeah. They're from. He's like, "Oh," and then it's just like automatic questions left and right. I'm like, I don't know anything. Email them. I don't know anything. Jesus, I don't know what his bra size is. Does he even need to wear a bra? I don't. Anyway, but now you mentioned before that you're in a band with your wife, and obviously I got to ask were you weren't married before?
No. We were. The band was going about for 2 years before we got married. But it was weird. We started dating around the time that the band formed. It was kind of the stars aligning kind of thing. We had been friends for like 9 years before that, and things kind of progressed from there.
And now, does it make it awkward at times when there's disagreements in the band? Does it ever come home?
That's the chill band.
Oh, that's
if I had a hi-fi as the one that comes to blows at practice sometimes, or we're all like so ingrained in what we think is best for the.
I kind of want to see a fatal 4-way with the members of If I Had a Hi-Fi.
We don't like some of the guys.
I think
don't have
honestly,
the work
and
rate.
this is the weird thing. I think when you look at the band members, you'd think Josh would win, but I think Chris would probably.
Oh, he's fiery.
Yeah, he's a little spitfire.
But yeah, part of the great thing about being in a second band is I can leave all of the really intense like careerist feelings over here, and then just focus on enjoying making music over in this band. And so like I can't think of a single argument that band has had.
And plus, they have that's an auto harp she plays, right?
She plays an auto harp. Yes.
Yeah. When's the last time you heard that? When outside of being in like middle school, when's the last time you heard the words auto harp?
A lot of people don't know what it is. They'll come up to her and say, "Hey, that's a really awesome harpsichord or xylophone." An auto harp, for those who aren't,
that sounds like something Mark would say. I mean, come on. No, you don't.
It's a folk instrument that. It's kind of triangular shaped. You play it upright. It's got about like 30 strings on it. If you ever saw the movie, I'm losing it. Wind.
That one? Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Not Gone with the Wind.
I know
the folk mockumentary.
Yeah, no, I want to say A Broken Wind, but
it is. No, it was it.
There you go.
A Mighty Wind.
A Mighty Wind. A Broken Wind.
Yes.
That's later after I've eaten lunch. Fart jokes, everybody! Yay!
No, one of the main characters in A Mighty Wind plays an auto harp, but Dixie
go.
has one that actually has pickups in it and a jack and stuff, so she can run it through pedals and make it all gnarly sounding and stuff.
That's some fancy stuff.
Yeah.
That's some super fancy stuff. Let's get into the stuff that's going to polarize everybody in the audience.
Excellent.
Like
Noise Rock doesn't do that already.
Well, they haven't heard the music, so. We talked about before, are kind of a political activist. For those listening, I'm making the quote sounds. Fingers. I can't talk. My brain has been fried.
There are people in this town doing way more political activism than me, but
you put out initially when Scott Walker, everybody remembers that great guy.
My favorite.
He's super awesome. Don't worry, we're gonna be.
That's the proper response.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
The proper response.
When Scott Walker was still governor, when he was still when Scooter was still in office. And he what exactly? He disbanded the unions?
He passed Act 10, which defunded public sector unions.
Yeah.
Causing a big shit show in Madison.
Yep.
100,000 people showed up to march.
Tony Shalhoub was there.
Yeah.
Monk.
At the time, I was at my job working 9 to 5 as you do, because as a working stiff, you don't really have a lot of time to indulge the activist itch every so often.
Right.
And so I was at work thinking, well, I need to do something because there are people I know marching around the building right now, and I can't be there because I'm at work. So I pitched to the band that we get into the studio and do a knockoff quick song that we would put on our Bandcamp and raise money for. I think at the time we raised money for Russ Feingold's
yes, that's what I think
pack.
It was. Yeah.
So we wrote a song called Imperial Walker, through a bunch of great Star Wars metaphors.
You've all
in there.
heard it, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
But it raised about $1,000 for Russ.
Well, you were selling it for like
downloads.
$1, right?
Yeah, it was like $1 a download because that's what you do with songs. Raised some money for that, and that got the itch going. And then when he announced his presidential campaign, that flame out was really satisfying. But when he announced that, a few of my friends got together with me, and we hatched a music compilation project called Unintimidated, Wisconsin Musicians Against Scott Walker, where
there were a lot.
We gathered within a day. I had about 18 bands that were like, I want to do that, like big surprise. So we came up with a premise where our friend Shane Hostettler, no relation, it's spelled differently. Our friend Shane, who runs Howell Street Studios,
right.
Offered his studio for the weekend, and we divided the time up into 2-hour blocks and told every band, we're going to have the gear for you, we'll have the drums set up, we'll have the amps. You come in, you have 2 hours to record your song, tracking, vocals, everything. After 2 hours, you're done, you get out, the next band is in. So it brought a real feel of immediacy to the project. So we had about 18 bands over the weekend come in, take 2 hours, bang out their song, and we documented it all on video to make performance videos and throw them up on YouTube. And we ended up producing a series of CDs and DVDs that we sold as a package to raise money for Planned Parenthood and some soup kitchens in the neighborhood, because there's nothing Scott Walker hates more than Planned Parenthood and homeless people.
This is true.
So we decided to raise money for them, and we ended up raising about $5,000 for those organizations. We followed it up with a sequel called Unprecedented.
I wonder who that's about.
That came out.
You Obama hater, you.
Came out in early 2017.
Oh, go figure.
And raised a little more that we were able to throw Planned Parenthood's way. So
because you only released it digitally, so the overhead was much lower.
It was much more lower. Yeah, so we didn't have to break even as much. But yeah, that was a big project for a few years there. It was very rewarding. And
did you get a lot of backlash from that? From dummies?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, We did our best to get the word out about the compilation and about the project, and we tried poking the bear a little bit. We sent a copy to the Capitol. I have no idea if it ever landed on his desk. But the bands involved in the project were about as esoteric as mine, like noisier, heavier.
Well, Volunteer
bands.
was on that, wasn't
Volunteer, who's a louder, heavier local band. I've learned that when people think of protest music, they think of Woody Guthrie. They think of a guy with an acoustic guitar.
Right.
So when protest music comes at them from different genres, it's a little the hook isn't as readily there.
Right.
So so we did what we were able to do with it. There were a couple songs on it that could have gotten radio play, or that were kind of were poppier in nature, but local corporate radio stations wouldn't necessarily touch that with a 10-foot pole. Like,
not a lot like of FM 106.1. They're awesome.
Well, they're not going to play metal. I'm not going to.
Why not?
I'm not going to. No.
Plus, you got to remember it's a country station, so they were probably like, "Yay, Scott Walker, he's awesome."
We don't know
now I'm going to go 50 feet behind my house and use my bathroom.
You're alienating the room, Ron.
No, I'm not. None of these people use an outhouse. Well, Mark might use an outhouse. Yeah. That's neither here nor there.
I love country music.
Well, see, that's the thing, is I'm a big fan of people who are kind of doing the old style now. Sturgill Simpson.
Absolutely.
William Elliott Whitmore. If you don't know who that is, he's amazing. He's kind of like Johnny Cash meets Tom Waits.
One of the best shows I ever saw was Hank 3 doing one set of old school Hank Williams style country music.
Like his grandfather or his dad?
No, like his grandfather.
Okay, I was going to say, woo!
I think he's estranged from his dad, actually.
That's actually a good thing.
But then the second half of the night was basically like straight up like thrash metal punk, and it was amazing. Like he turned on the big fuzz on his acoustic guitar, and it was off to the races.
Well, I notice a lot of musicians who, like country especially, who when they have kids and their kids start performing, Hank 3 is way different than his old man. Mm-hmm. And then who's the other one? Shooter Jennings.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Shooter Jennings, he was actually in Walk the Line. Have you guys seen Walk the Line? He was the guy he played his dad essentially in that scene where Joaquin Phoenix was preparing for his role as the Joker. And so that was he was playing his dad, and I think he's a much more accomplished musician than his dad too.
That's probably true.
Yeah. Because people don't do coke and drink and sleep with hookers anymore.
Not around you.
No, not around me. I've been barred from that lifestyle. They're like, nope, no more with the hook. I'm like, why? They want to do it, right? I'm like, no, I guess not. But that's just besides the point, I suppose. Now, you guys, If I Had a Hi-Fi has a new album out.
Yes, we just released our release, like our 6th or 7th. It's called We're Never Going Home, and it took us about 7 years to get together because we had a little time off in the middle.
The Richard Linklater of music, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it took 12 years to make Boyhood.
It look, when you're in a band and everyone works 40 hours.
This is true.
This is true. You can't be like doing the every night we're gonna practice and write for 5 hours and churn something out every year.
This is very true. Now, folks can find that at ifihadahifi.bandcamp.com.
Accurate. Yes.
Boom! I know things. My brain works.
If you struggle with If I Had a Hi-Fi as a word, just remember it's a palindrome. You can read it backwards and forwards, and it's the same thing because literary wordplay is something that works very well in the music community.
Because a lot of people are stupid.
Plays really well.
Yes. Well, he's not saying that, I am. So alienate me. I don't care.
Good cop, bad cop.
That's right. I'm Riggs and he's Murtaugh. That doesn't say much for me because that means I don't like Jewish people. But, yeah. No, I actually love Jewish people. My ex-girlfriend was a Jewish woman, but we're not going to get into that. But you guys are playing tonight. You guys are playing tonight.
We are playing tonight at Company Brewing over in River West, where they welcome people of all types.
Hey, I wasn't hating on them. I was just saying if I'm Riggs, I mean, plus I have to, yell out freedom a lot and yell at cops and.
Oh, in River West, they love it when you yell at cops.
I'm sure.
So, yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's at Company Brewing. It's at 10 p.m. We are playing with the bands Sufferhead, Telechrome, and credentials, who are all hot up and coming post-punk noisy bands. So bring your earplugs.
Now, a couple of quick things before we go, because I know they like us getting out of here early so they can set up for the next podcast.
Look, I play in bands that play 30-minute sets because, they got to get through 4 of them. I totally understand how it is. I respect it.
Where can people find more from you on social media and the band?
If I Had a Hi-Fi is, honestly, if you Google us, it's pretty easy to find.
All one word.
Yeah, if I had a hi-fi.bandcamp.com, we're on the Twitters and the Facebooks, and you can find Body Futures in similar areas. It's even easier to Google Body Futures because the only other things that come up when you Google Body Futures are articles about like human organ harvesting and stuff. So,
that's my pastime.
Yeah, well, yeah. So your Google results might be a little skewed. Like we might be on page 3.
Yeah,
but other than that, yeah.
If some East German people show up at my house with some coolers, it's
fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, before we get going, I'd like to end the program on a very happy note. I want you to tell everyone the name of the band that you played with the other night.
Oh. Must I?
Yeah.
They were much better than the name implied. They were called Mr. Clit and the Pink Cigarettes. They were from Indianapolis.
There you go. I just wanted to hear somebody say
2
Mr.
ladies
Clit.
and a dude. They played really awesome, trashy punk rock. They had fur on their amps, fur-lined amplifiers.
And I can guarantee you this will probably be the last podcast you hear today that uses the word clit. Proudly. But I want to thank everybody for being here and watching the show. And I want to thank DJ for being here. It's been a blast.
Thanks for having me.
No
Great
problem.
To be on the
This is
program.
the Ron Purtee Show, and you're welcome.